Right, now I've got my mountains more or less how I want them, but things can always change, so don't get too fixated on keeping things the same or changing things. That's a very important part of the process. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my decoupage glue, and I haven't got much left, but I'm using up all of the rest, and just putting a layer of decoupage glue, just sort of coming up to part of, just encroaching on some of the pink mountains, and then in the center put the rest of the glue, sort of a thin layer. Now take your gold leaf Dutch metal and pick it up and just float it down onto the surface, and with your brush just push it down gently. Now we don't need to be at all precious about it, but if it comes up too high, then just push it down a little. This is a kind of abstraction of a gold mountain. And take another piece and just float it down and push it down with your brush. Take some more glue, decoupage glue or decoupage glue, and push it down, which sets it in place. And just keep doing that along this central panel here. And it naturally just comes down and adheres to the surface. And put some more over here. Okay, so just let it float down. And just push while it's still wet, just push it down. Into this sort of wavy line. And just take little bits and just keep patching it as you go. So don't worry if bits come off, because you can always take more glue and just keep adding. And I like the texture of it. That's what I don't want it to be perfect at all. It's lovely to have that texture. That's all part of the beauty of it. Just taking little bits and gently as possible, just laying them down. Yeah, so I've more or less finished this central panel. I don't want to mess around with it too much, and basically just allow it to dry, and then we can, once it's dry, I'm going to put a layer of decoupage glue just over as much of it as possible, and then that will allow it to dry nice and hard. And the next part of the painting, and just keep, if you push gently with your brush, creating these undulations here, you will not have to paint over it so much, although I quite like the paint coming, the gold coming through the paint as well. But I like this kind of slightly sculptural edge here. So that's the golden layer, and then we'll go in with the next layer once this is dry.